Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. Stacy, glad to see you back as well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Sorry that I wasn't here last week. How are you doing, Murad?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I think you've had a valid excuse over the past couple of weeks, so we managed to hold the fort. But it's good to have you back.
No, it's so great to be here. And if I like randomly go silent, I am feeding the baby right now, so I apologize in advance, just in case. But yeah, no, it's been great. Baby is 3 weeks old, super healthy, has gained a lot of weight and length. So yeah, he's doing awesome. And I'm looking forward to the recap because, to be honest, I've been a little bit more offline, Aeon offline, for at least the past couple of days. So definitely looking forward to hearing what's been going on in the community.
Yeah, we had a lot going on, but before we delve into that, do tell us, what does it feel like to be a mother?
It is literally the best thing ever, and I really, really encourage other Aeons. Like one of the things that, like people who are close to me know about this, but like maybe not others. Like I just rent a dinky apartment and whatnot, and I know like for many years I was like, oh, I have to get my life together first, da da da. But at some point, like I'm 37 years old now. At some point, you just have to be like, you know what, this is a priority to me. I really want to start a family, and you just have to go for it and make it work because I really think people should avoid missing out on this experience. So it's been amazing. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm hearing a lot of positive reviews on parenthood from my friends as well. So I'm very happy that you are enjoying this process, and one day I'm looking forward to being in your shoes as well.
Yeah, I think like we're designed to do it. And so it's like, if you think you're inadequate, I think like there is something to like having kids at whatever stage life kind of determines is right for you. But I think it accelerates your growth. And so, yeah, anyway, I definitely think, Murad, you'll be an amazing dad when the time comes. And like any Aeon in here is already predisposed to probably like, I don't know, like just not dooming their child to like live whatever the inherited sort of frameworks are. So I think like for the most part, if you're legitimately a good Aeon and you're aligned with the SPX sort of ethos, you'll probably make an amazing parent if you're not one already. So
You know, you using the word adequate reminded me of a bit of a cliche phrase by this point, but reminded me of the phrase, "Our fear isn't that we are inadequate, but that we are adequate beyond belief."
yeah, exactly, exactly. I definitely probably have like the other side of it, like the imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not going to be good enough to raise a child to my own standards. Like, my students were like, we fear for your child because they know how critical I am of them. But yeah, no, I think like it's a good thing to be critical. And if anything, it's another expression of love. And so I agree. Like, we're beyond adequate because we're literally designed to do this. And we have to raise the next generation of Aeons. And, yeah, since like we'll put them at a better advantage than we were at, or that we were born into, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hype, how's it going, man?
Go go gaga.
Hype is actually my child. You hear my baby fighting right now. Good morning, Hypey.
Hello.
By the way, guys, anyone else who would like to get up on stage, speak, definitely put their request in, and we'll let you speak. So what's interesting is I am writing a long piece right now, but one of the sort of pages slash chapters is on hyperfinancialization of the American economy and the West at large. And it's very interesting. If you actually track the history of political, social, financial history of the Western world and of the American world specifically from the 20th century onwards, you see an extremely clear progression of policies that are effectively designed to increase wealth inequality and benefit the rich at the expense of the bottom 99%. And it's a very, very clear chronology, right? From the establishment of fractional reserve banking to in 1863, then you have establishment of the Fed in 1913, then you have privileging of the tax rates for property and investments over income. Then you have a long 50-year decline in lowering of the corporate taxes. Then critically, you have the elimination of the gold standard. Then you have the IRA and the 401k, which obviously acts as a massive funnel into the S&P 500, right? Enriching the top 5% who own 80% of the stocks. Then again, you have another wave of lowering of capital gains taxes. Obviously, then you have the 3 waves of mass immigration, which is obviously endless supply of cheap exploitable labor and maximizing corporate profits. Then you have 20 years of neoliberalism and deregulation, privatization of education and healthcare. You have a massive wave of NIMBYism, which obviously makes housing even more unaffordable. Then you have, NAFTA, globalization, offshoring, China, WTO between 1990 and 2002, which is obviously massive globalization or offshoring. Then you have the financialization of housing in the 2000s, which resulted in, we know what, in 2008, 2009, bailouts too big to fail. Then we have the QE and ZIRP of 2010s. Obviously, the COVID policies, which accelerated wealth inequality like never before, printed 45% of all money in existence in the span of 2 years. And obviously, you have, importantly, the ongoing AI automation, massive continued debt issuance, fiscal deficits, and money printing and devaluation. And literally every single thing I listed, it benefits the rich, hurts the poor, and makes housing, stock market, and even food more and more unaffordable relative to your labor every single year, right? And all of this is before I believe we're going to have some form of, robotics, automation, human replacement. White collar is going to go first, blue collar is going to go later. Then you're probably going to have yield curve control, modern monetary theory, and all of which essentially increase the marginal prices of housing and increase the marginal prices of the S&P 500. And it's very interesting to see this progression effectively over the past 150 years, especially after the Second World War, and especially after the gold standard was eliminated in 1971. You have this cultural progression where it's not even the top 5%, it's more like the top 0.1% effectively fully control like the entire political apparatus. And effectively, they steadily tweak culture and tweak society and tweak regulations, all of it to effectively redistribute wealth away from the bottom 99% into the top 0.1%, right? And I had an intuition around all of this, of course, especially when it comes to the gold standard, like 1971 and beyond. But it was interesting throughout my research to see A, how it's all connected, B, how it started way before 1971, and C, how essentially all of this is essentially wage suppression and then asset prices amplification. A bit of a sort of a side note here, but thought I would kind of share with you guys.
Yeah, I like that you brought the gold standard, like the fact that the US dollar is no longer backed by gold, into that picture. And even furthermore, like our foreign policy, like US taking out Gaddafi back when he was going to create, it was going to be a gold backed currency for Africa. And he was trying actually to sort of kind of create more of like a centralized bank for Africa. They were going to have like the gold dinar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but spelled DINAR. So yeah, it's interesting even how our foreign policy kind of lends itself to that. But I'm curious, Murad, what are your thoughts? Oop, you okay? What are your thoughts on, like, are we ever going to get back to the US dollar being backed by something? Do you think it'll be a digital currency? Like, do you think that that's in the future of, yeah, I don't know.
I think this is a street that only goes one way, so to speak.
Yeah.
And like, if you chart like the 200 years of this history, it's like almost every single event, almost every single progression, almost every single chapter is about making money weaker, making money more diluted, making money more unbacked, essentially turning it from something tangible into something that the government can increasingly and effortlessly create more of with just a click of a computer button, obviously, right? So I don't think so. I don't think that the U.S. is going to go back to a gold standard. The problem is that as bad as the US dollar is, all of the other fiat currencies are even worse. It's essentially like people around the world desire it because it's like the least bad of the bad things, right? But ultimately, like global debt was 250 billion in late 2020, and now it's like 360 trillion. I genuinely don't know how it's going to all get repaid. If you kind of crunch the math around all of this, then most likely people are just going to pay, quote unquote, these 350 trillion through lower purchasing power, even more stagnating wages, and some form of inflation, hyperinflation, something like this, right? But again, this is not going to be something that happens overnight. This is like a multi-decade story. But ultimately, I think the future base money is going to be either Bitcoin or some combination of gold and or Bitcoin or some digital currency with a fixed supply. Ultimately, I think my take is that as AI agents become smarter than human beings, they are also going to not only be spending money on chain, but they will also have to choose something to save money in. And I think once they weigh all the factors, they will naturally, assuming that the AI agents don't trust one another, they will have to settle on using BTC or something like BTC as their store of value long term. This is what I think. But there's many pathways around this. What do you think?
I guess the thought that I have is like, I agree with you that the trajectory is trying to weaken the dollar. But if the trajectory is to weaken the dollar, my assumption is, yeah, they do some sort of CBDC situation, which is not a finite supply, where they can constantly mint new tokens similarly to the way they just print more money. But yeah, I don't know. And like, obviously there's the thought everyone has where like, oh, maybe they're going to link it to people's social credit scores and whatnot. And I don't know how far things will spiral in that direction. But yeah, I more so think like maybe the dollar will be backed by some sort of digital currency that does not have a finite supply.
It's funny people talk about CBDC, but the thing is, USDC and USDT are already CBDC. It's essentially they are already. It's funny because there's some kind of a bill that was passed in America earlier this year, and they said that we are committing to not having any kind of CBDC for the next 5 or 10 years or something like that. But the irony is that the stable coins are already CBDC. That's exactly what they are.
That's true. The other thought is that, like, you're seeing all these like real world talk of real world assets and all this stuff being on chain, and it's like, well, I guess like in theory you could, I don't know, you could have it backed by tokenized gold. I don't know, but I don't think they would ever, like you said, I don't think they're returning to like the gold standard anytime soon. But it would be interesting if they did, if someone came in and did that.
I doubt they will. I mean, if I was evil, I would just make a CBDC and then give the peasants their monthly stipend, and then at the end of every month, everything they don't spend just gets burned, and then they receive like it again at the first of every month, and then you have a month to spend it on your subscriptions to Netflix and your like food and whatnot. And if you haven't traveled across the country, which was picked up by the flock cameras, then you receive a little bit more, and blah blah blah. It's probably not going to look too good finances. I wouldn't see a world where they'd go back to like backing it with hard money. If they backed it with hard money, you'd know that it's getting run by decent people.
Yeah, well, I think they have to. I think they have to play to the illusion a little bit that this is still like a free country, So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it'll go that far with the like cameras and that degree of surveillance. At least not in your face, right? Like our phones, we turn. Sorry, my baby just ate. Anything you hear is the baby, not me. I'm not burping right now. I promise you. Um, no, I think to some extent they have to keep up the illusion, and like, yeah, our phones have cameras that we think we're turning on and off. I'm sure they're watching like most of the time and listening all of the time. But yeah, like I don't know that it'll be to the extent of having like street surveillance, that kind of thing. I think they got to keep it discreet, at least to some extent.
Well, it kind of already is. We already live in police states. It might not be communist level, but it's certainly not the freedom that people died for. Maybe that's a little too.
I sent you an interesting article called "Australia Will Be a Command Economy by 2040."
Did I read that?
Essentially,
Yes.
it outlines how it's going to be a communist country by 2039.
It's already getting there.
Yeah,
Australia,
yeah, right. Like hype. When you say these things, I'm like, Australia's a little bit more in your face about it. I could see it there before here, at least.
Oh yeah, we don't have a choice. It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I mean,
It's over
COVID.
for us,
COVID
pretty
was
much.
like a good sort of exhibition of that. Yeah.
Yeah, which means it's coming from America. Like it's
Sure.
inescapable for everybody. Like,
Yeah.
it's already here. They're just turning up the heat in the pot. And in some ways, I feel like maybe it's not actually the worst thing ever to play the devil's advocate on the world's ending. Like, if we're gonna travel to Mars and have like an intergalactic space race civilization, like you're gonna need to be tracked everywhere. You're gonna need to be microchipped. We're gonna need to have some sort of like CBDC. It's all inescapable.
Interesting coming from you, Hype.
Are you okay, hype, with being microchipped? Like, you're not worried about things being able to be hacked, signals being able to be propagated? That I don't know. Anyway, I just
Obviously, it always depends on like who wields the power, right? Because no one wants to be like ruled upon by evil sociopaths who see you as their like god-given cattle.
That's been the case for the past 100 years.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's been that way. How do we break that cycle?
SPX6900.
SPX fixes it. Well, I mean, I do think you need to change the mindset and change your habitual sort of behaviors before that gets fixed. So I think like we're on the right track, but I don't know. Part of me feels like if you want to be in a position of power for the biggest military power in the world, like in the U.S., like you have to be a sociopath to even consider that. So like that already filters out all the sane people. So I don't know.
Guys, so on a separate note, this is going to be my fourth or fifth cycle in crypto, and I can really tell when something big is loading. I see CryptoMir in the audience. We talk about these topics a lot, but I genuinely think that SPX6900 is gearing for one of the biggest exponential parabolas that the crypto market has ever seen. And one thing I want to share with you guys is if you're on the spaces right now, chances are that you've held this whole time. But something that me and Matt Beck talk about a lot is that the real test isn't going to be not selling now and holding now. The real actual test is going to be not selling for as long as possible when it's the good times, and sometimes during the good times, that's even harder than doing it during the bad times. And ultimately, so there's two ways of looking at the quote unquote fundamentals of the various meme coins, movement coins, whatever you want to call it, right? There's the supply side and then there's the demand side. Our supply side is the number one in the whole space by far, even better than any utility coin, right? And when I say supply side, it's diamond handedness, full portedness, belief, how long have people held for, whales not selling, all of this, right? Essentially, how much supply is in cold storage not being moved and how little supply is actually available in the market, right? And that tightness, that diamond handedness for us, that supply side factors is number one in the whole space, right? Even if you compare to not just meme coins, right? Even if you compare it to Aave, Uniswap, even if you compare it to these guys, we're like way, way higher. And on the SEC, which kind of directly or indirectly measures this, that Matt Beck has developed, we are less than 0.7% away from being even tighter than Bitcoin, right? Which is crazy. So in the last couple of months, we have passed Solana and Ethereum, and we believe that this fall, right? So sometime in September, October, November, we're going to pass Bitcoin, right? We're going to become more diamond handed than BTC, which I think is crazy. So our supply side is top tier, but I would encourage every one of you to either push or even come up with the demand side, right? Essentially, the tighter our supply side, that means that the more sensitive this asset is going to be to each $1 of inflow, right? And so improving the supply side as much as possible is super important. But at the end of the day, you still need this bursts of new buyers, bursts of inflows. Effectively, to put it simply, we need to come up with creative ways to continue growing the community. Now, we all know how crypto works. 85% of like these community growth periods are always going to be coming in bull markets. They're always going to be coming during times when Bitcoin is growing, when liquidity is abundant, when Ethereum is growing, when the whole industry is growing, when the whole category is growing, right? That's totally fine. Nevertheless, given the amount of meme coins out there, just because we have the best mission, just because we have the best ideology, just because we have the most hardcore community of existing people, does not mean that we need to be lazy and that we don't need to be constantly innovating, not just culturally inside our community, but we also need to be innovating in terms of growth hacking. We need to be constantly innovating in terms of how we're onboarding people, right? And I'm working on a document of essentially like top 15, top 20 things you can do so that whenever any new person joins, other than just buying and holding and DCAing, what is like the most effective, the most efficient things you can do, right? And again, I say this on a lot of spaces, it's going to be different things to different people, depending on your talents. Some of you guys are better at coming up, like Maddox, for example, recently has been doing a lot of very creative shilling on Reddit. It's much harder than doing this on Twitter or even YouTube, right? Because the the nerdy liberal moderators on Reddit are very ruthless whenever they see that it's a meme coin show, because in their sort of unprofessional eyes, they just think everything is a meme coin, right? Whatever the crypto asset is, right? So they think that if you shill too hard, I'm not talking about the SPX subreddit. I'm talking about the other subreddits, like our millennials, our Gen Z, things like that, right? Whenever you shill too hard or like just about one thing and just like very like stubbornly, you are going to get warnings. And if it happens 2 or 3 times, you're going to get banned. What Slow and what Maddox and what a couple of other guys have been doing is they've been talking about a related topic, talking about a related problem, talking about a related trend, but they're doing it in a way where there's either a small SPX sort of tag in the corner, or if it's a video, the last couple of seconds, they have a sort of an SPX written there in the end, right? You have to do it in a smart way. This is more of an art than a science. Definitely check out some of the Slow's and Maddox's ways. He even posted about it a couple of days ago, but it's very powerful. Why am I talking about this? Because CT, we're already quite active on CT, all of us, right? We're on CT right now, but the coins that are going to win, and again, this is regardless, like if you look at whether it's XRP or Cardano on the quote unquote X side, or it's like Doge and SHIB on the mimetic side, the coins that always win in crypto are the coins that can expand beyond crypto Twitter, right? It's very easy to be on crypto Twitter because you already have 1,000 followers, you already have 2,000 followers. Whatever you post is going to get some 20 likes. You're always happy. You get this dopamine response. However, the people that win in life are people who do hard things, not the comfortable things, right? And the reason I talk about Reddit and YouTube and Facebook and these other platforms a lot is because, again, the coins that are going to win are going to be the coins that are going to capture the attention of normal people, working class people, not traders, not degenerates, not gamblers, but just normal people, just slow and steady community growth, right? Dogecoin, through its 3 cycles, ended up getting 5 million wallets, right? Call it 2 million real people, whatever it is, right? And just for your information, for example, Maddox's last thing that he posted a couple of days ago on Reddit got 150,000 views, right? And even though he wasn't talking about SPX directly, there was a SPX6900 clearly visible in the corner. And that is very, very powerful. One more thing I want to say, so just to kind of put it all together, our supply side is top tier. And I anticipate it to become even more tightly squeezed and diamond-handed than BTC, than even Bitcoin, right? But we still need to be coming up with various sort of ways to stimulate demand, continue growing the community, again, especially outside of crypto Twitter bounds. So yes, this is one of the things that I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And like for people who were around during the GameStop short squeeze saga, that scaled through Reddit primarily above all else. And I agree, like CT is just gamblers. So yeah, it's I want to spend more time on Reddit, but I will just I know I've said this on previous spaces. Murad is saying it's an art for a reason. It is really hard to avoid like getting banned on some of these subreddits. I've kind of painted myself into a corner with that because I was not as sort of discriminating against how I was discriminant, I guess, against how I was posting. And yeah, like exactly what Murad said, just everyone thinks everything is like a pump and dump and a scam. So yeah, you have to be really cautious. And I do want to also just add that I think TikTok will be a big place for us to scale. We've tried it in the past. But we maybe haven't all necessarily found our groove there yet. I only got TikTok just for SPX. But the high school kids really like SPX. It appeals to them. I've had a lot of students kind of sort of stalk my social media and figure out that this was something that I was heavily involved in. And they love it. They even dress up with SPX stuff for Halloween and like pretend to be me. So anyway, I think that's a good sort of like if you're talking about like target audiences, high schoolers are really into it. So whatever funky dances or whatever trends they're doing might be a really good place to and maybe that's what Slow and Maddox have been doing. I've been a little bit away recently from the computer, but yeah, just something to consider if there's a popular song, if there's a popular dance that all the high schoolers are kind of getting into, that's probably a good place.
Did you mention funky dances, Spacey?
Yeah.
Because we've always thought maybe Murad should do some of those dances on TikTok.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a really good idea. Maybe we get him in some merch from SPX Industries doing the dances and with the SPX sort of logo floating around. I like that. I really like that concept.
So every day I kind of ask myself, what is like the most efficient / effective thing I can do in order to push SPX6900 to the next level, right? And the answer to that question is going to be different for each person. Every day I ask myself, right, is it more rating on Twitter? Is it more reaching out to other famous / rich people that I know to kind of onboard them to the system, right? Is it like rebooting my old Facebook and just messaging everybody I know, right? It depends, right? Is it making another YouTube video? For me, it's a combination of all of these things. Because I have a sizable Twitter following, I often come back to Twitter because, for example, if I make a brand new Reddit account or a brand new Facebook account or a brand new whatever YouTube account or whatever, right? I'm going to be starting from scratch. And let's say that any kind of action, any 3 hours of effort, 2 hours of effort that I put on those brand new platforms, let's say I'm going to get 5,000 views or whatever, right? 3,000 views. But here, every raid that I do, for me personally at least, it can get 10,000 views, right? 15,000 views, whatever. And I can kind of stack them quickly, especially if I'm rating somebody who's not like a CT person, but more just like finance or investments in general, right? So for me, just spending a lot of time on Twitter, just given like where we are at today, it might be the logical thing to do. However, for a lot of you guys, I would strongly encourage you to also go hard on other platforms because again, figuring out, these growth hacking techniques or these guerrilla marketing techniques, essentially, this is the way to think about it, right? Is there something, and this applies to all of you guys in the audience right now, right? Is there something that you can do to bring 100 new people in, right? Maybe there's even something that you can do to bring 1,000 new people in, right? So I think this is the right way to think about it, right? And for some of it, it might be a video. For some of it, it might be a write-up. For some of you guys, it might be something in the real world. But I would strongly, and by the way, my DMs are always open both on Twitter and on Telegram to discuss these creative ideas. I've been tipping a lot of people behind the scenes over the past 2 years now, and I'm always ready to tip more, especially if it's people who I've seen already go hard for a couple of months, right? It feels like you are tipping to a worthwhile person. And one thing I would say is, if you think that, if you have any sort of these crazy creative ideas, these growth hacks, these interesting things, definitely pitch it to the community. And definitely let me know whenever sort of SPX tokens can be utilized in a way to kind of make these things happen.
Hey, Murad, I just had a thought because you mentioned like guerrilla marketing. I was at like a baseball game with my coworkers recently, and all I kept thinking on the way home was like, damn, this was a missed opportunity. What I should have done is airdrop people who were in the stadium the original SPX video. And then I had this thought that, like, what if we chose a day? And obviously, coming up is August 16th, which is the day that the SPX token originally launched back in 2023. What if we all committed to, on August 16th, finding ourselves in a crowded place and kind of airdropping some of the original SPX content, whether it's the video, whether it's like a static asset, to whoever has their airdrops open. I mean, like when I've been in big events before, like concerts and so on, where people have randomly airdropped me stuff, and then I realized, oh shoot, I shouldn't allow airdrops from everyone, but many people still do. What are your thoughts on doing something like that?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. I'm personally like super paranoid when it comes to like hardware, and I never accept any kind of requests like this, or I just generally avoid like connecting to networks. But I think in a lively enough area, I think it can work.
That's such a good idea, actually.
Like, so do we
If you
want
do
to
a
come
picture,
to?
it'll go through really quick. Because if it's like
Yeah.
a video, you'll have to like
That's
wait
what I'm
around
thinking.
and hope
It'll
that they
take
wait
too long,
around.
and people could like
Yeah.
reject it or something. But yeah, maybe a static asset. But maybe we agree, like Hype, you did those wheat paste posters, poster designs. Maybe one of those. Like, I don't know what
Yeah,
seems
that'd be
like a
cool.
good static asset to do something like this with.
You don't own enough, pussy. You don't own enough.
I would love to do that little short 4-second clip.
That'd
but
be so good.
but yeah, something static like attention please, thank you for your attention, but with the SPX logo or some, I don't know.
It's pretty fun as well. That's like a fun way to like harass people.
And then go up to people and be like, hey, did you get that weird thing to your phone? And then you're like, wait, what is this? Let's look it up real quick.
Yeah, because if you were like chilling at the same time with like the posters and you had like a shirt on and stuff, if someone did get it and it piqued their attention, they turned around and they were like, who sent me that? And then they see like a retard in a SPX shirt. They'd like walk up and they'd like ask what it was about.
Hype, remember when we were outside of the New York Stock Exchange after the bell and we're like shilling SPX to people? That would have been the perfect opportunity to just be airdropping every single person who passes by. Anyway,
Hey, sexy!
it's just a thought. But yeah, I think I agree with Murad. I think that people should think of the different contexts where they kind of shine. Whether it's platform specific, whether it's IRL, and like any opportunity is an opportunity to shill. So like you go to the mall, maybe you try the airdrop thing. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'll be brainstorming personally.
I did, speaking of wheat paste, I did add, let me get the tweet and I'll pin it. Share space. I added wheat paste posters to the industry website, and then 2 like double-sided rack cards, and I uploaded all the updated logos with different variations. So I got the S&P logo. I got that like remade, so now we have a vector, but it's like exactly the same. But I uploaded like ones with like drop shadows and like gray with a black drop shadow and white and shit like that. So you have different variations finally. And then I got the SPX logo remade properly, so it doesn't look like arse anymore. And that's also there. So you can just go to the website and just go to the Google Drive and download them. You don't need to like add the product to your cart and then purchase it. Just download everything through the Google Drive link. But if anyone does want to do wheat paste posters, they are there, but don't do anything illegal, like defacing people's property with them, because we are not liable. But they're there. Normally, you have to run like a wheat paste poster campaign, usually through a business, because most cities and councils and stuff, the laws are generally that you just have to get permission from the property owner. And then if you get that, then it's fine. So don't go put wheat paste posters on somewhere that you don't have permission. But in big cities, most of the locations where you can put wheat paste posters are already, like, the contracts for those places are already held by businesses that do guerrilla marketing. But yeah, resources are there if anyone wants to use them.
Hyde, where do you picture, like, what do you think are some optimal target locations for putting these things up?
Most of the time you see them like when high rises are going up, and you know, like it takes like years, and there's like the flyboard in the cities. You see wheat paste posters there. Brick walls is a big one. Legal locations, that seems to be it. Unless you like, you know, you find a cafe that has like a exposed brick wall on the outside and you ask them for permission, maybe you swing them like $100 and they let you do it. That's cool. Otherwise, like, you know, illegally speaking, you can put them anywhere, but that's illegal, and we don't endorse that.
Yeah, for anyone who wasn't around early on, like 2023, I don't remember when it was done. Someone went around a city. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Someone shut that baby up. Oh my god.
He just wants to eat. He just wants to eat nonstop. He never is not eating. It's called cluster feeding, but most babies do it for like part of the day, and this baby does it for all of the day and all of the night.
Just like his dad, huh?
Yeah, he's persisting forever, consuming milk. But yeah, no. Back in the day, someone had created a stencil of the SP6900 logo and put it put it all over. Where in Australia was it? Did we ever find out?
Oh, Sydney.
Oh, it was in Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, people have done it before. I think this sort of wheat paste poster campaign could be a lot of fun for some of the more like daring Aeons, or someone like Hype said who maybe knows a business owner that's looking to get some art on the side of their building. Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, there is like 8 different designs, and there's like a few different flavors. So if anybody does know, like, business owner, you can show them the different designs and be like, what would you like? Yeah. What do you think would go well with your bar? So that's cool. They've all been designed, have some by Arcane, have some by Red Aeon, have some by Connect, S&P Hater, and there's two by me as well. So yeah, there's like 8 or 9 in total. Yeah, you can print them in like like A4 size, and then you can go all the way up to like the big, like human-sized prints as well. So get creative, I guess.
We should get some more people up here to talk.
You're up here. How you going, Slow?
Shut up, hype. I'm good. How are you?
Shut up, fuck you.
Cypher, dubbing, Monge.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What up? What up?
Hey, I just and if I get off topic here, or I'm not trying to get off topic, it's kind of related to future growth, and it comes from an optimistic point of view. But just if I start rambling, just one of the admins just turn me off. But before I touch base on just something that I just want to talk about for a second, hearing that baby coo, Spacey is like fills my cup up as someone who's raising 4 Aeons or trying to do their best to raise 4 Aeons. Like the advice you gave about there's no perfect time to start a family, like I got that advice earlier in my life, and it's the best advice I've ever gotten. So I just want like that's just awesome. I feel like I'm in the right place hearing that. But,
I appreciate you saying that so much.
One thing I want to touch base on, and this is an optimistic. I don't want to make a molehill into a mountain, and I know that and I don't want to kill the vibe. But listening to Ready Steady Go and that conversation recently that he had with Chad, there was a very, 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 very small piece of that touched on like internal friction between OGs and like newcomers. And I'm much closer to like a newcomer. I've been here since like a little over a year ago. But the reason I just want to touch base on it is just from like a high level as like this continues to grow and grow and grow. Is I've revisited a certain media product, and I say that because I don't want to like be specific in my analogy, because I don't want eye rolls or like positive or negative bias on what I'm talking about. But as I'm revisiting this piece of media, like I feel like, and then I'm seeing conversations over the last couple of weeks where there's some of the friction that pops up. I'm like, this is. I mean, I feel like I'm revisiting this media, and it's like happening in real life, and it's like this the whole conflict of this is based around fighting a system. I know that like pushing back against a system that's consume control of everything, and there are people spread throughout different. Yes, there is. There's people like. Sorry, hold on. There's people. There are people spread out all over different areas from different cultures, and there are people who were the spark that started the fighting against the system, and then there are people that are coming into the fight every single day, and there's this distrust that is natural. It's just always going to exist. And I guess the 3 points that I want to make are that like if I was talking to the OG crowd, I would say, there are Aeons out there that don't even know what SPX is yet, and they don't even know that they're an Aeon. They are like going in the future. They are going to be huge presences, and so I would just try to say like, don't. And I'm not saying that I'm not thinking of anybody in particular. I'm not saying that anybody's done this, but I would say like, try to be open-minded of what, like, even if that person doesn't earn the trust, maybe some small action they take reaches to one of the future Aeons that could be that way. And then on the flip side of that, which I think is maybe a little more important, I would say to newcomers that it's super important to understand like the fabric and the foundation of SPX. And I say that like I still try to understand that every day, but I'm here and I'm not leaving. But like the SPX is so unique in so many different ways. For example, like it's just this perpetuating trust machine that is like so many things could happen, and it's going to persist just because of so much work that has been done by people. And I don't include myself in that group. Like I try to strive for that, but if the friction rises and people are trying to tell you something. Like I think as a newcomer, it's super important to try to understand instead of like trying to tell other people the way it should be. It's super important to try to understand like how we got here and what has been done before you. And I'd also say that, and like my personal experience is like, if even if this after this, this maybe out of place ramble, like if certain people in the community reached out to me and they're like, hey, Cypher, like you're out of pocket, you don't understand, and please stop posting, you are hurting the brand. Like I would take that like very strongly and be like, I don't want to be something holding it down. And the idea that ties these two things together is I heard Matt Beck talk about teamwork and like this idea, and I've always been involved in like team sports, but like this idea, and there was like this energy when he was talking about it, because it's, if you've been a part of it, it's undeniable. But like this idea of when you are part of a team where you have like the utmost confidence in the person next to you, you like this, it's like evolves into this unstoppable force. For example, like when Spacey, and I say, like, I don't know, I have not talked to you all a lot, but like just from what I have gathered and the impression you all made, like if Spacey and Hype, even though he can't say Stipend correctly, and Chang, like if they're working like together on a problem, like they're unstoppable. Just like the Bronze Army, like if they're working on something, like they're like who, like I couldn't have written that, but I just wanted, I say this optimistically, and I know it sounds like, so I've read somewhere one time where it's like they're the phases of when you learn about SPX, and you start out and you're like in this overly energetic. I was in that phase. It sounds like I'm in that phase right now, but like I remember when I was like, okay, I was like so excited, I found this thing, and then you realize like, yeah, it is self-selecting and it's inspiring. But I just maybe it's because I'm a middle child, but like the friction always pulls at me, because I'm like, yes, sometimes the friction is true, and these people, like new people, are like just absent-minded as far as like what has happened before them. And sometimes like it also means that like there will be times where OGs are like compromised, and we're all human and fallible, and so like people will lose their way. I think they'll find their way back. I think it's just like a perpetual self-selecting trust machine. Like I know everybody's heard that, but I just wanted to share that because I felt like there was like this weird energy that came over me, and I'm 100% sober right now. Sorry if I sound crazy, but it's really just inspiring. But anybody on here, I guess, if you're on one side or the other that feels that way, like just try to think at a high level, long term, about the impact that you can have, good or bad. But that's really all I wanted to say. Thanks for the time. Sorry if I didn't want to get us too off
Those
on
are
a
good
tangent.
points.
But thanks, guys.
Yeah, don't apologize. Thanks for coming up and sharing.
No, I love what you just said, and I think like it always comes back to there's totally value to both sides of what you said, and it just comes down to no one should ever make it about them, because this coin is so much bigger than any individual person, right? It's like greater than the sum of its parts. And at the end of the day, if it's not serving the mission to flip the stock market, then maybe it's something to think twice about.
And I just on that point, like I think in instances where I have like kept up with the conversation and I'm like, oh, how's this going to shake out? I think that is what always reconciles it, is somebody is like putting themselves first, or like it's more me and less of a selfless endeavor. And again, like you just sharing at the beginning about raising Aeons, like I'm constantly like, time is one of my resources that I wish I had more of. Obviously we all do, but like I have this epiphany where like, yes, there's certain things that I need to do, and I live in a very isolated place. So certain things that it would just be difficult for me to do, but like maybe raising Aeons is something I can do, like, something that's going to be more powerful than, me trying to find like maybe what I post is going to be slop, or what I share. And I'm constantly thinking about how I can just create one more Aeon or introduce one more person to the mission, etc. But I think if you come at it from a selfless point of view, that's what's helped me at least kind of narrow my my path. Love you guys.
Yeah, I agree with Spacey on the point of yeah, if it's someone sort of makes everything centered around them and their brand and their image, like much more so than SPX, that's usually a red flag. Yeah, because on one end, we always, like, everyone has to always sort of be on the lookout for extractors, because, and especially in the bull market, like, the higher you go, people look like they want to get into SPX, but they go, oh, the price is really high, so I want to. They want more from SPX than just buying the token. They want leverage in an attention economy, and they see the attention that SPX offers them, and they want a piece of that pie. And they'll come in really gun-ho, and they're promoting their face, and then they're trying to build a brand, and then they're trying to, like, sell you products. But you're like, who are you? Like, how long have you been here? How much is in your ledger of trust within this community to dip into that to try and sell products to Aeons? And then on the other hand, like you said, Cypher, like, you also don't want to, like, chase people away. Otherwise, you, like, the community becomes, like, isolating, and you don't grow, and you scare a bunch of people off, because at the end of the day, we have a product that we're trying to sell. If people want to buy the product and be customers, then you can't, like, it's defeating to knock customers away when you're trying to sell them something. So it's a fine balance.
And
Yeah, and I'm like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, and I'm not like, and I'm pro like productive hazing, like, if you know, and that's kind of like one of I think the self-correcting things. It's like also how you build trust. It's like when you're first meeting people, or at least in my experience, like, and you're getting to know one another, blah blah blah. Like, you know, you become friends. Like, I'm meanest to my closest friends, and it's like and it's kind of like that productive hazing is the wrong way to put it, but when you can build that trust and there's give and take, I think, and again, we're probably talking for this for too long. I just had this thought that I just wanted to get out. It probably would have been more or not more beneficial, but better
That's a good
served on a smaller space. But because I know there's a lot of people here. Yeah, go ahead, Spacey.
No, I just wanted to add, to be fair, like, yeah, I'm known for being someone who, like, has a tendency to gatekeep. It's just because I saw GameStop and its entire progression, and how certain places that the movement sort of lived get co-opted, and I was a part of Occupy Wall Street, which got co-opted. So I love this thing. I want to protect it, and maybe I have a tendency to gatekeep it or take it too far. But what I have to remind myself is, like, early on in SPX, like, we always looked at it as kind of like a redemption coin. So I'm saying this kind of in response to Chang had posted a picture of Solana Trench people coming, like, and Murad saying, come on over to this side with the beautiful green grass and all this stuff. And I edited the meme, and I added myself further over to the right, saying, "Do not come, like, don't come anywhere near this," with the gate up. And I'm trying to remind myself even that sometimes I take it too far, and, you know, like, sometimes these people just haven't been exposed to the right culture, to the right ethos. They only know gambling, and sometimes these same people, like, there's room for growth. They're human. They can come around, and I think that's our job, is to help sort of reframe the way that they look at their own participation in, like, finance, in the world of finance. So I think, like, we have an opportunity to reintroduce people to their own sort of power in this kind of context. So anyway,
Yeah.
I like what you're saying. I definitely, like, I'm making a note to self, like, this is a redemption coin, but on the other side of it, just be cautious, because, like Hype said, there's plenty of extractors, and it's such a well cultivated community that it's, like, just an opportunity for people to come and, like, take advantage of the fact that everyone sort of gives everyone else the benefit of the doubt, and everyone's very generous here. We look out for each other. We try and help each other any chance we get. So yeah, definitely, I like both sides of what's being said, and
But
I too sometimes take it too far.
but on that, I think, and the more time that I've spent here, I think I understand the gatekeeping more, and I think it's actually I know the meme, like, it makes complete sense, and I completely agree with it. And I think it's more important than ever, especially as it continues to grow. And kind of like back when I was sharing my, like, getting my thoughts out, is what I would say to people that are kind of closer to me as, like, more recent to the community, is that, and, like, understanding how important like the core fabric of SPX is. One of the things about it that is so unique to me is that it's like very difficult to vamp, or like vampire attacks on SPX is very difficult. But if you lose that core fabric, it becomes much easier for that to occur. And so the gatekeeping, I think, is like only not, and it's not, and I don't say this as a way. It's like now, like the more time I spend here, the more important it is to keep people out. That is not what I like my approach or my thought process at all. But I just understand it more because I've just spent more time here and I see more instances of all people new and old. But I like one of the things is like it's just this unique thing that has captured it just captured me, and it's changed the way that I see things, and which sounds corny, but I don't know another way to communicate that with like edge, but or like an edginess. But yeah, like it's no, I mean I didn't bring this up to try to say, hey, like gatekeeping bad, because I think it's pivotal.
And I also want to just add, like, use the word friction. And I just want to say the way that I kind of see it is like there is friction, but there's friction between every single person in SPX. Where, like, if Hype does something that seems too lewd, I'll say something to Hype. Like, even though it seems like at certain moments, like, maybe the OGs all seem to take a similar stance, like, we all came into it around the same time. So, like, probably culturally we see things similarly. But like one of the beautiful things about SPX that I think differentiates us is we don't have, even though we're like on the same mission. No. Okay, hold on. I swear that's my soundboard. That's not my baby.
It doesn't get any better than that.
No, so like one of the things that's beautiful about SPX is even though we all are on the same mission, we don't have the problem of groupthink, which I think is a beautiful thing. We kind of all check each other. The card in tarot that I picture when I think about SPX is the temperance card, where the girl is kind of like mixing drinks, kind of like diluting something. We temper each other. And so like we don't all think the same, and that is our strength. And it's okay for people to communicate that to each other. I think everyone in this community at this point has kind of learned that sometimes you're going to do things that are going to make other people unhappy, and they're going to vocalize it, and then you're going to revisit it and be like, okay, was that fair that they like had qualms about it, or was it okay, and is it still aligned with the SPX ethos, and can I keep doing it? So I think it's like a beautiful thing that we check each other. And I hope that we keep doing it. Like, I think friction can come across as having like a negative connotation, but I think it might be one of our strengths. So I just wanted to add that. But I think Cypher, I think you were alluding to feeling sort of similarly about it. So. Sorry, I'm muting myself because I don't want the baby screaming in your ears. Love you guys.
I do just want to say, like, SPX is really, like, it's a really wholesome community and it attracts really good people, with good hearts. And then that in turn also attracts bad people. And it's good. It's like on the internet, it's no different from real life. In fact, it's worse than real life in terms of like predators. So it's good to just keep a level head about those things. That some people just won't be nice, and some people will be nice, but then they'll like take you for granted. You know, it's the same shit we all deal with in real life. Just because we're all fictional girls on the internet doesn't sort of void those normal social interactions that we have as people.
One filter that I use personally is I don't really support/promote a particular Aeon unless I've seen them go hard for at least 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Because one thing I've noticed just in the world in general, doesn't have to do with crypto, is usually there's a correlation. Bad people, grifters, scammers, whatever you want to call it, right? They are almost always impatient. and they are almost always looking for easy ways out or quick ways out or immediate gains or something like that, right? And this personally, at least personally, just in my own head, right? This 3, 4, 5, 6 months filter that I have, it cuts out at least 80% of bad people. I've seen even this over the past 2 years in the SPX community. Because usually in that first 3, 4 months, that bad person is going to kind of fall by the wayside anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree. I sort of have my own little system as well. But yeah, the time spent in SPX and the commitment given is like a big one. It's like Dill said it, like a ledger of trust, almost like proof of labor is a good way to put it. Like how much proof of labor has gone into your like ledger.
And by the way, guys, once price starts going up, we're going to have a lot of those kinds of people.
Yeah, it'll send you crazy.
Yeah, like I think the funny thing that sometimes people don't realize is like, honestly, the bear market is the good time. Like I'm just hanging out with my friends in a lot of ways. There's not other shit going on. You know what I mean? But like we 100x, and then there's like a million people all trying to get a piece of SPX, and we're all going to be stressed and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and they'll like circle us like vultures trying to like pick off. They try and like pick off the weakest in the herd around like the outside. Like speaking of like
Yeah.
other coins, because other coins will like do it. Try and like vamp attack us. Like they'll be in your DMs saying like, "Hey, I'll give you like a little bit of supply. Come check out this coin. If you like SPX, then you're gonna like this coin because we're so similar. Here, have a little homie bag." And then suddenly you're invested, and they're trying to like poach people, and then we're trying to like swat them away. You're like, stop trying to poach. You're trying to poach my slaves. Get out of it. And then like, but they keep circling, and then you're trying to like beat them back, and then they're like, "Well, it's not very Aeon like of you to. This is PvP," and they try and like use your own like morals against you, and you fucking get into these like fights on the timeline. This is mostly just Twitter stuff, but like on Reddit, you don't get this. On YouTube, on TikTok, you really don't get this. This is just like the interface of crypto Twitter lets this that social interaction happen, which is why it's so good.
One more thing, I was talking to Thai today. He made a good point. Whenever you guys raid on Twitter, don't just raid with SPX shows either, right? Ideally, you should be raiding with the following proportion: 3 SPX shows and 2 generalized raids, responses, replies. Because if you only say SPX related things in replies to people, you're going to get a lower kind of quality score, or lower quality post score on like in the Twitter algorithm. So mix it up with just normal stuff. For example, Thai just did a funny meme today, got over 1,000 likes, and that definitely boosts your score behind the scenes. So don't. This is not so much about tweets. This is more about responses and replies. When you do them, try to mix and match SPX related stuff with just other topics, not just SPX.
Yeah, because Twitter's like a tree, isn't it? With like there's the main algorithm, and then as you branch off, like SPX is just like a single branch within crypto, and then there's all of these other pockets that you can just like go and explore. And the only way you can explore them is by like commenting on like fitness influencers or like political influencers or other things. Like there's so many sides of Twitter. There's fucking eating disorder Twitter that you could like get into if you really wanted to. And that's how you sort of like break out of your own algorithm over time is reply guying on in other pockets, but being funny and entertaining at the same time.
Gaga. Judas, you want to come up? Saucy? Aeon 2511? Jordan? Vasily?
Anybody?
Manj? Blaze? Polly? Crazy? Michael? Red? Larry?
Now you have to shout out everybody in the space now. So you started it. You started it. All 127 people, go.
That Juice, you're a speaker now.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
What's up, dog?
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And congrats again, Spacey. It's very cool to see. It's really cool to hear you, just the whole story of you becoming a mother, and I'll be becoming a father we'll see either at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year. So it's like, it's really cool to see that all transpire. And parenthood is around the corner for me. So
I'm so happy for you. Truly,
so yeah,
you're blessed.
and it, yeah, I'm a little nervous, but like, I feel like life has prepared me for this moment, and I'm probably more prepared than anything. So yeah, excited, but happy to be here. Murat, thank you for hosting. I just wanted to say one quick thing. This coming Wednesday, we're going to be celebrating 1 year of Auto Heal. Yeah, so pretty exciting. I didn't know what I was doing when I first got involved in this community, but I just felt like I wanted to just talk to people and talk to Aeons and just hear their stories. And the mission's not even close to being over. So I'm just grateful for everyone that I've gotten a chance to speak to. And if you haven't had a chance to on a Wednesday, come up and speak. I'm sure the community would love to hear you. I would love to speak to you. And yeah, we're going to keep this going. So I love you all. Thank you. That's enough gay talk for me.
Gay.
And also, if you order a shirt from Hype, just make sure he sends you the correct size.
We'll never live it down. You ordered the wrong size. Man. A whole year of auto
Damn,
heal.
I was just gonna say that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Got to
you.
turn my reminders on.
Yeah. It did. I'm gonna post up the first one I did. I think I probably spoke to myself for like 30 minutes before an Aeon. He goes by Blaze. Oh no, not Blaze. I apologize. Breeze. And I actually got a chance to say thank you in person at the conference when I saw him. So pretty special.
Oh, dude, that's badass. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Juice, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So from what I know, you're one of the organizers of the SPX LA meetup / chapter, and I put it on the jumbotron right now. You guys have a meetup upcoming at the end of the month.
Yes, Aeon Bro and I are going to be hosting, see how many Aeons we could get out. First, it was just going to be us two, but the more the merrier. So, like, if anyone's interested or in the area, by all means, reach out to Aeon Bro or myself, and then we'll put you in the group chat. So, we're going to try to see how we do this once a month, maybe in different locations all throughout LA. So, it's not going to be the last one. So, yeah.
What are you gonna do in LA?
I think we're gonna probably hit up some Korean barbecue, and then maybe after some sort of activity, just so we could chat it up and strategize and see how we could get SPX6900 into the hearts and minds of everyone. But you did say something. You did say something earlier that I was gonna do, but since I heard you being so that we should. It's friendly. throughout cities. So I'm gonna find the right way to do it, so it's not illegal.
Oh yeah, completely above board.
Hey, Cypher, your mic's on. Oh, never mind. Thanks.
Though LA might be different. Like, it's good for everyone to look at what the laws are in their own like jurisdiction, because like
Yeah.
LA might just be like free game.
It's kind of like yeah, it's everywhere in LA is kind of different. So I kind of thought like it was going to be in certain areas, but I whenever you do any week posting in some areas, it does get taken down pretty quickly.
Yeah, because the wheat paste posters can be expensive, so you don't really want them to be gone the next morning. If you just went and spent like a few hundy and 6 hours putting them up.
I'm also gonna be I'm gonna do one like a big poster of one of those, just so I could have it for myself, because I think there or see where I could find a public place that will allow it to just to keep it up. That doesn't necessarily have to be we posted.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
print them and just put them in your house as well.
Yeah. So thank you for doing those. They look sick. And also too, I'm gonna see how we could. I'm gonna reach out to 500 Hater to see how I could get the file for some of those, like the ideas for those stickers that he made. Because I'm gonna see if I could get some of those printed out to give out for the LA meetup.
Oh yeah, I gotta get those uploaded. I think I have the files. I gotta put them in the stickers section, so then you can just
Oh,
download.
you have them? Okay, yeah.
They're
If you yeah, so I want to get those and see how I could just get. I want to have like little care packages for anyone that came out to the LA meetup, so we could just when they're out and about, and see if we have enough time to maybe print out some of the SPX like gift cards that were at the conference, because it'd be cool if we could get more. Because we might be having some Aeons that are coming from far away, so I don't want them leaving empty-handed.
Based.
But yeah, I'm gonna step down. I gotta do a couple things, but I appreciate all you guys. Love you, and we'll speak soon.
Mwah.
Love you, Juice.
Love you too, Slow. Go.
I love it when people meet up in real life, and I met up a couple of Eons in real life as well recently, because a when all of the pictures and videos come from those meetings, it's really powerful to show people how like this is growing beyond just the digital, and two, it's like a direct I don't want to say solution, but in today, loneliness is like a huge thing, and when you're actually like making new friends online, that's increasingly a rare thing. And so when you can connect like in a community of like-minded individuals, I think that's like super, super powerful.
Good. Anyone else want to come up and say hi?
Blaze, you're now up.
Blaze?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes.
My headphones disconnected and connected when I came back up. Yeah. On that note, I met up with our favorite bovine friend this morning. We had coffee, talked about SPX for a couple hours. It was really good.
Fuck yeah. In Chicago?
I don't know if I can disclose that information.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I just did it for you.
Thanks,
No
Lo.
takebacks.
Chicago's a huge place, okay?
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
It's like saying New York City, you know? It's like huge.
Oh, come on, it ain't that big. You know what pissed me off about New York when I went there? Is like, they're like, it's New York, and then you like cross a river, and they're like, it's no longer New York. And you're like, I'm literally 5 minutes away from where I was before, and then suddenly it's a different town, jurisdiction, laws, hotels.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they're different states. Do you have different states in Australia?
Yeah, but they're massive. They're like huge. Like it takes
Yeah,
like
yeah.
18 hours to drive across a state, not like 5 minutes across a bridge that you could walk over.
It takes a long time to cross some states, like Texas.
Yeah, I guess where you were, New England, that's like the highest concentration of like easy to cross states into other states.
Yeah, it was so annoying. I got scammed out of like $2,000 for a hotel or some bullshit because of that simple thing. I was like, this is so I hate this.
I'm never coming back.
Yeah, because they're like, you want the one in New York? And I was like, yeah, the one in New York. And they're like, well, it's... And I get there and they're like, no, they booked you the one 5 minutes away. And then they're like, but no takebacks. And I was like, fuck you, fuck
Yeah,
you, fuck you.
That's America for you.
Do you think they picked up on your Australian accent and said,
Yeah.
we got one?
Yep, I totally got diddled.
Bastards. Are you guys going to do it again, Blaze? Or was that kind of a one-off?
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Hell yeah.
We were talking about trying to see what we can do about starting like a Chicago chapter or what that might look like. Maybe. So I'm not aware of who all is in Chicago. I know of some people who are in Chicago or like the Chicago area. But we might try to start like whether it's private or public, not sure yet. Maybe start private and then go public. I don't really know what the best protocol around that is. Yeah, maybe talk to Ilya or something. But yeah, I think we're going to try to at least personally meet up like every month or two or something.
Hell yeah. That'd be dope.
User. So if anyone's in the crowd and they're in the area or they're close to Chicago or wouldn't mind trekking to Chicago, send me a DM and let me know. That goes for you, Hype, if you want to fly out.
Yeah, we don't discriminate
You think
against Australians.
Maybe I can make it over for like a weekend or something. A quick FIFO to Chicago.
Hype, you and Spacey have met each other before, right?
Yes.
Nice. Hong Kong, right?
Yeah. Consensus.
Nice.
Yeah, consensus, and then Hype also came to New York. And by the way, we went to a clam eating contest.
Fuck.
And Hype, today I drove by, and they're doing it again this year.
That's so funny.
And we sponsored some random kid and made him wear like SPX6900 on his name tag. And he made it to the final round, although he did not win.
You know what the funniest thing was though? Is like Spacey was like begging me to eat these clams, and I was like, no, I don't even know what a clam is. Like, I could eat 2 and I'll be full. I managed to like beg my way out of getting entered into this clam eating competition, and then Spacey walks up to the first guy at this competition, and she's like, if you win, will you shout SPX6900? And he's like, are you guys from SPX?
He knew who we were.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
Literally the first person we went up to.
It was like wild.
I forgot about that. That was sick.
And then his mum was there, and she was like talking to us, and because he was just like trenching in fucking the Solana trenches, and then he was like vindicated as this like trencher because then suddenly these random crypto people had also rocked up and been like, "Oh yeah, we're in the business." So then his mum was like, "Oh wow, no way! You guys do the same thing my son does. I thought my son was a loser."
Well, not quite the same thing. No.
Infiltrate everything.
It was funny. My uncle went to the World Cup final, where he's not like in crypto, but he has an SPX bag and he was wearing an SPX shirt. And some guy stopped him, raised his hand, and was like, "Hey, bro, let's flip the stock market together. Let's flip the stock market together." And he was like, "Yep." And it was a really funny story he told me.
Let's go.
This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's always surprising. Like SPX has like we're not that big, but then you also run into people who actually like know about us.
Yeah.
Good feeling.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a psychologically kind of powerful effect when like indirect people are finding out indirectly that there are other people who like are also aware of SPX. And it kind of becomes a signal of like, oh, you've heard of that too. And like neither one of us are like really into crypto at all. It'll be interesting to see how that affects people.
One more thing I'll say is, and perhaps we can work on this after we're done with the manifesto or the mission statement, but I think what we need to develop, guys, is what I call essentially SPX growth strategy, right? Whenever we talk about growth hacks and growth avenues and marketing and distribution, a lot of people have different ideas, right? We should do this, or maybe we should do that. And ultimately, I think everybody ends up doing like either a little bit of everything, or different people do different things. I know some people, they're like working together on certain things, but I think what would actually be productive, and I think this is actually the step forward, is we pick 3 things and then we just go super hard as a whole community. We communicate that to everybody over the course of 2-3 weeks, like over and over again. And we go really, really hard on these 3 things. I'm just giving an example. So for example, right? Just a rough example. We don't need to do these exact things, but just what it would look like, right? We say, we're going to make a list of like 20 KOLs, for example. We're all going to rate them very hard over the course of a month as a community. That's like one thing. Second thing is we're going to go really, really hard on YouTube. And then the third thing is, for example, we're going to go really, really hard on Reddit, right? And that's it. And we're just doing these 3 things hardcore over the course of the next month or 2 or 3, right? I think that's the way forward. But I think that what we need to decide on as a community is, what are those like top 3 most effective things that we can do at this stage, given our people, given our resources, and just go really hard on those like 3 things. But yeah, just kind of thinking out loud here, because it's not practical for us to do like a little bit of everything or to kind of spread thin. I think we need to pick 3 sort of techniques or 3 avenues or 3 kind of directions and just hit really hard on those 3. What do you guys think?
I think concentrated action is definitely the right move. Otherwise, yeah, like you said, the energy is kind of wasted in a sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's continue having conversations kind of behind the scenes, and let's figure out what the top 3 things are. Maybe between now and the next spaces. Let's kind of, I would love to have like a 1-page sort of SPX strategy, at least for like a quarter ahead, and to at least run these quarter-long experiments. And I think as we do these things, we'll figure out what's like a better in terms of input, output, in terms of effort and what we get back. We'll get a good sense of which sort of funnels are worth pursuing, so to speak.
If I might add something to that, I would kind of caution to say maybe like if we were to pick 3 things, that it might be wise to maybe consider taking like a bit of baby steps when it comes to like these collective actions. And maybe like we come up with those 3 topics, like you said, but we only focus on one at a time for like 2 weeks. The reason for that is because a lot of the time, I've seen a lot of like projects kind of, or like initiatives kind of come and go. And I don't mean just in SPX. I mean like cultural initiatives, business initiatives, whatever. And it's actually really difficult to get people to like be aligned on these things without there being a lot of confusion. And what often happens is that people will get the general idea, but have different interpretations as far as how to carry that out. Like, for instance, I know you were just throwing things off the cuff, but you said go super hard on Reddit. But what does going super hard on Reddit mean? And everyone's going to have a different interpretation of that and different level of experience with that and a different, you know. And so then you start getting into, well, shoot, now we need to like define and like coach people through, you know, the Reddit side of things. And then you're trying to do that while you're also trying to focus on these 2 other things. And even though it sounds like, oh, we're only focusing on 3 things, and that's like no problem, especially probably for someone like you, Murad, who I think can juggle like 50 things in their brain at once. But like, it just gets really confusing really quick. In very unexpected ways.
So
that's kinda
I
my
mean,
take on
actually,
that.
I like every detail I said was just like completely random. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? I was just
No,
kind of
yeah,
giving
for
a,
sure.
yeah, giving a super loose example. I would
Yeah,
actually, what if we can even simplify it further? What if we just do one thing for a month?
Yeah, right. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I mean. Like,
Right.
here's the one
it might
thing
be,
for this
it
month.
honestly might be even simpler.
Yeah. Because like the other thing too is like maybe it would be ideal. It probably would be ideal, right? If the community could focus on like 3 things at once.
Yeah.
But we probably need to learn how to focus on one thing at once first.
Yeah. You might be right. Maybe
You
it's
know?
worth doing one thing. Later
And doing
on,
it well.
yeah, and
Yeah.
later on, if all goes well, we can expand to 2, and later on to 3. But start with 1.
Yeah.
The thing is, this is the thing, guys. Right, in the bull market, especially, I think we're going to reach a point where this is going to be growing, almost like on its own. Right. You know, when there's like a snowball effect, a certain critical mass, where just essentially all people are shilling to each other, everybody's calling their friends, new people are coming, immediately shilling to everybody else, and it's almost like it has a parabolic effect, right? But it's up to us to bring it to that level, right? Every day I try to put at least 4, 5, 6 hours into talking to people, initiatives, writing, video scripting, a bunch like messaging people, shilling, etc. Essentially, I would not only encourage other people to do the same, but think about how we can collaborate and do this efficiently. You know what I mean? But slow. I really like this idea. And essentially, what I want to say is we shouldn't be complacent in the sense that, November is gonna come and the next 4-year cycle is gonna start and everything is gonna go up and we have the best metrics, so we're gonna go up the most. No, it's not gonna be like that. If we want to be bigger than other communities, we need to work harder than other communities. I genuinely believe that the universe rewards you based on the effort, and effort times intelligence that you put into any project, right? So just because our supply side is the tightest doesn't mean that we can just sit, relax, and do nothing. We should all, both individually and as a collective, not only come up with the most effective ways to grow, but also go hard on those things. And that's kind of what I wanted to discuss with you guys. But slow, for example, September, right? I think we should seriously pick not even 3, just 1, like you said. Pick 1 avenue for September, 1 growth avenue, 1 growth hack, right? 1 platform, whatever it might be, and just say, okay, we're gonna go really hard on that one thing as a community, whatever the most active 2,000, 3,000 people, whatever it is. We're gonna just focus on that one thing for a month and see how it goes. And then October, we go hard on a different thing. And then essentially, I think that's what we should be doing. So in the coming couple of weeks, I think we should just pick a thing for September and just as a collective go really, really hard on that one growth avenue for September.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Gets everyone in practice working together in unison. Gets everyone. It gets the gears turning. And I definitely agree with what you said. We can't get complacent. That's how things die. And yeah, it's good. It would be good for us all to get used to like having that kind of collective direction.
Yeah.
And collective action, because that's really where like our biggest like power comes from in a lot of ways. So
for sure. Yeah, I don't want to be one of those communities where people are just like chilling, having fun, enjoying themselves, and hoping that the bull market will take the tide. If we do nothing, then we're gonna have mediocre results. If we want to have those insane, crazy results, then we need to go out of the way and work hard while other people are not. Right?
yeah,
I think this is a. I'm glad that Slow, you're on the same page with this. Hopefully, the rest of you guys also like this idea. I think this is a good note to finish on. Thank you guys for attending the spaces. We have a lot to think on. A lot of sort of efforts people are working on in parallel as well right now behind the scenes. Excited that we resurrected this tradition. And thank you everybody for joining tonight. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, everyone.
Love you guys.